It's online and recorded.
Get the notes yet? Where's the worksheet?
Thanks, guys.
They're good. Animals.
All right, guys, on your paper somewhere, I think, do you have room on the back? Somewhere, probably towards the bottom. Why don't you write these down? Let's foil. Okay, how do I foil these? Okay, Leah, why don't you get up and put the stuff back here that you got?
All hours of the night.
Okay, how am I going to foil these two? Mary, what's my first step? Good. So I'm going to go first terms, which is what? X times X. What'd you get? And then I got to go outside terms. Plus 2X. Inside terms. So what do you get? And then the last term. Plus 8. Okay. So what do we got? What do we do now? Oh, is Zach? There's a good chance. Yeah, there's a good chance the middle terms are going to be. So what do we got? Plus.
Plus 8.
Okay. Good. Now, I just want to show you something. And we'll talk about this later here in a second. What's 4 times 2? What's 4 plus 2? Okay? Just remember that. Let's foil this. You guys go ahead and write this down. Go ahead and foil it. I'll give you 20 seconds and we'll go over it. Makana, talk me through it, please.
X times X squared.
X times negative 3.
Negative 3x.
How about 6 times X?
Plus 6x. Minus 18.
Okay, what do we got?
X squared plus 3x minus 18.
Nice job. Okay, guys, what's 6 times negative 3? What's 6 plus negative 3? 3? Okay. I think that's on your notes, right? Should be top of your notes there. Yeah, I think the other ones were too, right? Yeah. Okay, I guess I shouldn't have had to do it on the back. I apologize. Okay, what two quantities multiply together to give us? Okay, it's just what we did. What multiplies together to give you 8? Okay, it could be this. It could be this. It could be what? This. Or it could be what? Or I'm sorry, what am I thinking? I'm thinking 2 times 4, and that's it, right? Okay, I was thinking adding there. Okay, which one of these adds up to 6? 2 and 4?
Yeah.
Because 1 plus 8 is 9, right? Okay, so how would I write this? And it's right above there that we just did. Okay, and we'll get into this a little more. Now, what about this? What multiplies to negative 18 that adds up to 3? Well, let's write. Now, what do you know about multiplying to a negative number? If I'm multiplying two numbers together, one of the numbers has to be what? Negative. Okay? And since that's going to add up to this is way ahead. since it adds up to a positive, the bigger number is going to be positive. So I have this, right? Does that add up to 3? No. How about 2? Let's see. -2 times 9 is -18. But does -2 plus 9 equal 3? No. What's my next one? 3 and 6? 3 times -6. Okay, but this is going to be this way. Does that work? It does, doesn't it? So my answer would be this. And it doesn't matter the order I write it in, guys. I could have wrote it like this. Because remember, multiplication order does not matter. But sign, however, does. Okay? This is wrong. If I write this, this is wrong. Okay? Even though -6 times 3 is -18, what's -6 plus 3? What's -6 plus 3? Now, if that was a -3 in there, -3x, guess what our answer would be? This, not this. Okay, that's what we're going to do today. Okay? Here's the rule. Here's the rule. If I have this, x squared plus bx plus c, okay, the p and the q multiplied together have to give you this. This is what's multiplied. And then p plus q adds up to b. This is what's added. So you might want to write that there. Add to get the middle term, multiply to get the last term. And you guys saw that if my last term's negative, one number has to be positive, one number has to be negative. And that's all we're going to do today. Okay, that song, I'd run into a wall.
You don't know that one?
No.
I don't know.
All right, guys, we already did this one. We did these last two. So what multiplies? So 4 and 2 add multiply to 8, and 4 plus 2 add to 6. And then this right here. -6 times 3 is -18. -6 plus 3, and this would be switched. That's wrong. You guys switch that on your paper. That should be that. The signs are wrong. Should be that. And again, now, this is how I think, and you guys might not think this way on a problem like this. See if this makes sense. If I have a negative number at the end here, I know I'm multiplying. One has to be positive, one has to be negative, yes? I always think then, okay, what two numbers subtract to get me this? Okay? Because really we're just adding the opposites, right? But I just think of subtraction. I know I have to subtract. And 6 minus 3 is 3. So I know it's going to be plus 6 and minus 3. All right. Let's get going. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. All right, you guys have this on your paper? All right, here's what we're going to do. Some of you guys might see these quicker than others, but we're going to go through the process like you don't see it, all right? We always want to start with 1. What times 1 equals 12? 1 times what? 1 times 12. Now, here's another thing too. This is a little, watch up here. If I have a plus sign right here, this means multiplied, right? That if I have a plus sign, that means either both numbers are negative or both numbers are positive. And this tells you right here they're both what? They're both positive. Does that make sense? Okay, what's the sum? Okay, and the sum has to add up to 7. Sum has to add up to 7 here, right? Okay, what's 1 plus 12, guys? Okay, is that my answer then? Is that my answer? No, because it doesn't add up. It multiplies to 12, but it doesn't add up to 7. Okay, let's go to 2. 2 times what is 12, guys? 6. Okay? What's 2 plus 6? Is that my answer? No. Why? That doesn't have a sum of 7. Does 3 go into 12? 3 times what, guys? 4. What's 3 plus 4? Is that my answer? Yes. Because it has the sum of 7. That's my answer. Now, so what do I write here? What am I going to write here? What do you think, Logan?
X plus 4. X plus 2.
I get that.
I mean, 3.
Is that right? What if, wait a minute. Should the 3 be first? Or does it matter? Does not matter. Does not matter. Okay? All right, let's try the next one, guys. Okay, now watch. Before we start, watch. Let's think out loud, make it easier. This is a plus, 18, right? So the numbers, I'm multiplying 2 numbers together. If I get a positive answer, the numbers have to be the same sign. Does everybody agree? Right? And they're both what? They're both negative. Okay? All right, let's start with, okay, so we multiplied 18 and we're adding up to negative 11 here. Put that over there. Okay, what's 1 times, okay, we know they're both negative, so I'm going to write it like this. Guys, what's negative 1 plus negative 18? Don't say 17. What's that answer? Negative what?
19.
Negative 19. Is that my answer? They add up to negative 11. Nope. Okay, what do we got? 18, so negative 2 times what? Negative 9. Come on, guys. Let's start participating. It's the same 3 people saying stuff out. Dorian, what's negative 2 plus negative 9? Oh. Now, are those the only factors that of 18? No, I can do 3 and 6. Negative 3, negative 6. But that adds up to negative 9, which I don't want. Guys, this is my answer right here. That's my answer. Okay? So, Jonathan, what am I going to write here for my answer?
X minus 2. And then X minus 5.
Okay, whoops. Thank you. Now watch. Let's say we're taking a quiz or a test. I'm only going to do this once. Let's say I want to see if I'm right. What can I do to see if I'm right? What can you do? Foil it. Very good, Braden. Guys, I want to foil. Let's foil it. And I should get this. Okay, what's x times x? What's x times negative 9? What's negative 2 times x? What's negative 2 times negative 9? Liv, what do my 2 middle terms add up to? Is it right? Yes, I'm right. It's x minus 2, x minus 9. Now, could you write x minus 9, x minus 2? Yes, doesn't matter the order. All right. Why don't you guys take a second? See factors of negative 24, and the sum is 5. Okay, what am I thinking right now? Everybody, before you start, let's think out loud. Sabrina, one number has to be what? One number has, are they both positive, both negative, or is one positive, one negative? One is positive, one's negative. The bigger number has to be what? Positive or negative? What do they add up to? A positive number or a negative number? No, positive, right? 5. So the bigger number of the 2 has to be positive. All right, see if you guys can get it. I'll give you a second. Remember, that was you guys last year. Let's see, 1. Now, since my bigger, always start with 1. I want my bigger number has to be positive. What's -1 plus 24? What is that? What's -1 plus 24? Is that my answer? Nope. So keep going. What's -2 plus 12? Is that my answer? No, what does that add up to? 5, right? Does 3 go into 24, guys?
Yeah.
It does. Times what? 8. So -3 plus 8. What's -3 plus 8, guys? Is that my answer? Yes. That's my answer. That's my answer. Samar, what am I going to write for my answer now? Can't hear you. What are the two numbers? So what do I write? X plus 8. There you go. Now, can I write it a different way? How else can I write it, Alexis? Either now, guys, the 8, it has to be positive. The 3 has to be what? Negative. This is wrong. Whoops. That's wrong. Because if you add that up, I'd have, now if this was -5 in here, right? If this was -5, then this would be my answer. But since it's +5, it has to be this. Okay? Okay, what can you tell me about this puppy? Matt?
The numbers have to be positive and negative.
One has to be positive, one has to be negative. The bigger number is going to be what? Negative. Mr. Westphal, would you like to do one? Are you sure? Or you got something else to do?
Whoa!
That would have been a sweet catch. Sweet catch. Isn't it?
All right. Have they had time to do the factors of -30 yet?
I don't think so.
All right, let's work through it together. Jonathan, give me some factors of -30. -1 times 30. But what's its sum?
Oh, sorry. -1 plus 3.
Which is what?
29.
Is that the right one?
No.
No. So as you sort through this, did you write them all out?
No, I just did, since it's a negative answer, the bigger number is negative.
Yeah.
So I went 1 times -30.
And you're gonna start to see that, like, if one's lopsided, like -1 and 30 are kind of lopsided. 29 is not even close to -7, right? So if you start to list all these out, okay, well, how about 30 and -30 and +1? -30 plus 1, you got -29. We're just not close, right? But like Mr. Parker said, we do want the bigger number to be the -1, since they're going to add up to be a negative. So what are ones that might be close, or who already has it? How many of you already have it? Okay, and if not, you have to guess and check. Matthew, what'd you get for your product?
Oh, I got parentheses, x plus 3, parentheses.
Well, no, what are your numbers that are going to multiply?
Negative 10 times 3.
Negative 10 times 3. Is the product negative 30?
Yes.
Is the sum negative 7?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's a good check. Those are going to be our numbers. Our numbers are going to be negative 10 and positive 3. So Matthew, you put what?
Parentheses, x plus 3, parentheses, x minus 10.
Can you put x minus 10 in the first set of parentheses?
It really doesn't matter.
That is correct. Question on that one. All right. Think through this one. Evan, did you figure out the numbers yet? Can I help you? Give me some numbers to multiply to 4. 2 and 2. Do they add up to 5? No, they're out. What's another set of numbers that multiply to 4? 4 times 1. Do they add up to 5? 4 plus 1. Yeah, so we're good. So 4 times 1 is 4, and 4 plus 1 is 5. So, Evan, what's going to go in our parentheses? Do you need some help, or you got it? Very good. Good job. Next one. Now I'm going to try this one without writing out the product column and the sum column. If you still need that, the both columns, that's fine. If you want to just write the numbers with a comma and kind of check to see if they multiply to the right number and add to the right number, that's fine too. Corbin, do you know? Give me some numbers that multiply to 6.
2 and 3.
2 and 3, good. What's 2 plus 3?
5.
Is that the right number? Are those the right numbers? No. We got the 5, but it needs to be what? Now, if the product is 6, both numbers are going to be negative, aren't they? So let's try, what do you think we should try? Negative.
Negative 2 times negative 3.
Very good. Negative 2, negative 3. And we kind of do this in our mind. What's negative 2 times negative 3?
Positive 6.
Positive 6. Good. And what happens when you add these two numbers? Negative 2 plus a negative 3. I'm at negative 2. I add on 3 more negatives. Now I'm at negative 5. So that's the right pair. So, Corbin, what goes in our parentheses?
X plus negative, x minus negative 2.
Just x minus. If you want to say plus, it'd be plus a negative, but it's going to end up being subtraction. All right, x minus 2, and then x minus. Good. The nice thing is these go in the parentheses with their sign. They go in there with their sign. So if it's a negative number, it's going to be a negative sign in there. All right. And if you're nervous about it, like Mr. Parker said, you could check by foiling it out. Make sense? All right, try these two on your own. We'll go over them in just a minute. These are kind of like a fun little puzzle, aren't they? You don't?
You probably like it. Don't you?
I did.
How's everybody doing?
Sabrina, can you help me out with this one? What'd you get?
I got 5, 8x plus 5.
And
Plus minus.
so what happens if you have a plus and a minus? What does it end up being? Just a subtraction, right? So x minus. Did you say 4?
Yeah.
I would agree. You guys get that? And again, check. 5 times -4, -25 plus -4, +1. It's common that people will get the sign on the wrong one. If I would have got the negative on the 5, it would have been a -1 in the middle, right? -1 in the middle. So be careful. Jonathan, you got this one? Did you try it yet? We can pick on Logan. Didn't get it, Logan? Would you help me, Logan?
Sure.
All right. What? I'm thinking of a number, two numbers that multiply to -8. Huh?
1 times -8.
Let's see. Does 1 and -8 also add up to -7? You have chosen wisely. Was it 1 and -8 or -8 and 1? What did you say? 1 and -8? And you should probably write these out. 1 and -8. Double check. 1 times -8 is -8. Check. 1 plus -8 is -7. Check. So what goes in the parentheses, Logan? X plus 1, x minus 8. Did that stump you?
Yeah.
Or did you get it? Is that true?
I don't understand how you're supposed to know what number's supposed to be negative, like the 1 or the 8.
I'm so glad you asked. What if I did, the correct answer was 1 or -8. What if we tried a -1 and +8? Those also multiply to -8. It passed the first test. Do you agree? But what's the second test? Not only do they have to multiply to -8, they have to add. And what did these add to?
Positive.
Now, if the problem was this, if the problem was that, this is the correct answer. But it's not. It was a negative in the middle. So it had to be the ones that add up to a -7.
I thought there was some like at the beginning, like this sign tells you what side's supposed to be negative. But is that not the case?
No, because these can be written in either order, but they have to multiply to this number and add to this number. Everybody good with that? No? You don't understand this at all? We'll have to talk. So, only point of this, is this in your guided notes?
Yeah.
Okay. We're just trying to get the sign right here. If these are both positive, do we know what the signs are going to be here? A plus and a minus, or a minus and a minus, or a plus and a plus? Sweet. Plus and a plus, right? That's kind of helpful. Now, I don't know what numbers go there. We weren't given that much information. Okay. How about a minus in the middle and a plus at the end? A minus and a plus. Could the minus go in the second parenthesis? Or, yeah, it could go in either one of them. Right? It doesn't really matter. It's a minus and a plus. What if the last term is the -1? They have to be one of each, doesn't it? Because they added up to a positive. Okay. Like 8 and -1, what they multiply to? Negative. But they added to a positive. So one had to be positive, one had to be negative. It doesn't matter which order they go in. I could have put the negative in the first set of parentheses. Doesn't matter. And what if they're both negative?
And double plus and double
Minus, minus.
Well, a minus and a minus multiply to a negative. So that also has to be a minus and a plus, doesn't it? But what do I know though? The one with the minus has to be a
Negative.
the one with the minus has to be a bigger number, right? Because they added to a negative, right? So be careful with that. All right. The diagram shows the relationship between the signs of B, and so we kind of talked about this. That's kind of what we just went through. P and Q are our numbers that multiplied to C and added to B. I'm going to go ahead and put the assignment up. Make sure you're writing the original problem down as you do this. If you still have questions, I can come around and answer some questions before you leave. Let me stop the recording real quick.